we're here now trying to complete it for Valentine's. Valentine's Day was the ideal date we were going with, but the Artist Seduction CD, the production of it. When I mean the production, not just the music of it, the whole production of the project consists of me, my producer J30, and Buck, the engineer. So we all have separate projects we're working on in between. So we're trying to make the date February 14th. It can happen, or it may be a little bit later because this is something that just came about out of the blue. So if we can make the February 14th date, then that's fine. If not, they get it a little bit after. And also, I'm letting everybody know now it's a short CD. It's a real short CD. It might not even be 10 songs because all the songs are female-friendly records. And when you hear the records, you understand where I'm going and why I'm going with it. So we was trying to catch Valentine's Day. That's why it's called Artist Seduction. Well, no.
No?
No. Of course, Jenna gonna be on that. We're waiting for Jenna right now. I spoke to her the other day. She should be back in New York next week, and we're gonna finish a record called "Lie to Me." Now, the record is called "Lie to Me" because I'm in tune with the relationship between men and women and the communication process between them. And some people will agree with it, some people disagree with it, but it's a saying that people will lie to the one they love because, telling the truth will hurt. Especially if you're out here and, you're doing your thing and living a unloyal life or whatever you may be unloyal to, you lie to the one you love. So the chorus, Jenna is asking the guy, I need you to lie to me. Because when you lying to me, I know you love me. Once you start telling the truth, I know you don't give a fuck about me. So it's a little twist, but that's the record we're working on. I'm not surprised because sometimes you just have that type of chemistry with other artists. When it works, it just works. It's just magic. Like, I knew Jenna for a while, and when we get in the studios, like sometimes she'll call me and say, hey, Joe, I got a record I need you on. You have to hear it. You have to hear it. Or I'll call her and say, I have a record I need you on. Or sometimes I might just be going through, in the studio, listen to all her records, and I say, Jenna, I got to get on this. And I like to classify, in a Murder Inc. sense, I would classify me and Jenna as sort of like Rule and Ashanti. But, different, but our collaborations are on point like that, and it just so happens. So I'm not really surprised that people took to it like that. On Artist Seduction, also, I'm gonna have a record with Slim from 112. I'm supposed to finish recording that tonight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. Slim from 112, J30. Who else is gonna be Artist Seduction? Jenna, Slim from 112, and some other artists from New York City you guys may not have known about. A guy named TL, my boy my son, he may be on Artist Seduction, and I'm not sure who else yet. But it's a short CD, so we're not gonna have too many collaborations on it though. Well, Angels and Demons, like I'm not sure if I ever did an interview about that CD with you guys.
No, I didn't catch one.
Oh well, Angels and Demons, the title of the CD itself, it was basically showing, the battle between good and evil that every human being will go through in their life. At that time, if you listen to certain songs on Angels and Demons, I think it's a song called, I forgot the name of the song. Is it number 2? It's after the introduction. Forgot the name of the song. I'll think about it in a second. Well, I'm talking about the relationship, with my wife, how when you're living a life in this music business of having fun and traveling and dealing with different girls and this glitz and glamour, you're chasing a lifestyle that you feel is great. You think it's all good, but when you're having fun, it's somebody that's hurting. So, you're chasing what you think is angels, but it's really demons. So that's where I was at the time. Doctors were telling my then girlfriend, now wife, that she may not be able to have a kid. And this is the epitome. I'm giving you guys some real insight that I never told anybody. The doctors were telling her she may not be able to have a kid, and all she ever wanted from me was for us to have a baby. And I kept putting it off because I've been chasing my career. Like, I don't have time to have a kid, I don't have time to have a kid. So, in me chasing my career and chasing these glitz and glamours and these birthday parties in Vegas and having all this fun, somebody's at home hurting because all she ever wanted was a kid. And through my selfishness, she may not be able to have a kid because I made her wait. So I was going through that place in my mind, like, what's what is life about? Is life really about the glitz and the glamour in this game, or is it really about family? You know, and I've come to understand what it's about, and I prayed on the situation. Now I have a daughter who's 8 months old, and I'm married. So, God helped me see the difference between this game. So yeah, I love this game, and I love making music, but I know what's more important than chasing this game. Thank you. Married life is great, actually. I mean, it's a challenge like anything else, but married life is great. Just when you do the right thing for a person. I'm not saying I just got married for her, but you do the right thing, solidify the family, because you can't even operate and do work properly without a home foundation that's solid. So when you have a solid home foundation, everything else you could build on top, and then it'll have more structure. So married life is cool. Yeah, what I hate sometimes, I hate to discuss something, and if it doesn't happen the way I wanted to happen, then fans are like, well, what happened to this? But just to give it all away, give you guys the truth. I'm trying to work on an artist seduction mini movie, like a 30-minute movie. But the artist seduction movie is going to be a collaboration of records that you may have heard, but strung together in a movie. Like, it's going to be 2 records from me and Jenna that you guys may have heard on other CDs. A record from Artist Seduction CD Now, a record from Angels and Demons, strung together. And the concept that I'm trying to go for, because I've been taking a lot of political stands in the neighborhoods in the Bronx, New York, is a young lady that passed away from domestic violence. Her name is Shanetta Fernandez, and I grew up with her, and her boyfriend beat her to death a day before Thanksgiving. And the artist seduction movie that I'm trying to create is in memory of her. So I'm working on that, but that's a lot of work. So when you ask about videos, I'm trying to put together a mini movie. I don't have a date for it yet, but I'm trying to do that. Well, here's the thing, right? This is what people, the biggest misconception about female-friendly records, right? The biggest misconception is people think because if a beat is smooth and not hardcore, and we have someone singing on the hook, the conception is, oh, those records are just for females. But if you listen to the lyrics of it, they're not just for females. Those lyrics are for guys. You're representing the smooth crowd, like guys that know how to talk to females, guys that are fashion friendly, know how to dress and know how to get, like, those records are for. It's not just for a female. The record is for a certain group of people that understand females, understand fashion. So it's not, oh, I love you, baby, I love you, baby. Nah, it's not that. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm passionate about it because you have to understand. To me, the the idea of giving is the most rewarding emotion that one should ever feel, and it's definitely something I should feel. And it started last August when I had our first annual function called Plaza Day. Plaza is a building that I grew up in the Bronx, and we had this function to bridge the gap between the youth and the adults in the neighborhood, to get them to interact with one another and to know one another, because we have kids in the neighborhood that they don't even know the adults in the neighborhood. So we had this big cookout basketball game, and I gave away 10 pair of LeBron James sneakers to different as prizes to different kids. And that feeling that I got for that, it was just a unbelievable feeling, just to see the smile on kids' faces and everything we did. We fed the community. So after that, I did something called Christmas at the Plaza on December 22nd. I gave a toy drive where I gave away 100 toys to kids. I fed over 200 people in the community, and without sponsor, all this was on my own. Like I did this alone, and just the feeling of giving is the best feeling. Like I said, and I also understand the power of voice. Meaning, in my neighborhood, I'm seen as a success in my neighborhood, and I want kids to understand that you don't have to be a multi-platinum selling artist to give back to your community. If you notice that when you speak, people listen, that's a form of success. That's a form of power. So you don't have to wait until you're, a million record sold or 500,000 record sold or 5,000 record sold to say, I want to give back. If you open your eyes, you can give back right away. And I recognize that. So I'm taking a leadership role in my community to make the kids understand, you can be more than a rapper, more than a basketball player. You can be a community leader that make a difference in the neighborhood. So I'm taking an active role in the Bronx as far as leadership. Right, you can say that, but it's like I think building a brand, that means you have a strategic plan to sell something, because that's what your brand is. As far as helping, I'm not trying to sell anything. Like I'm not. That's just coming from a genuine place. Yeah, unrelated to the the political things and the help I'm doing. Of course, building a brand is real important, but at the same time, I'm just trying to enjoy making music. Like I want to enjoy making music. The music business, we always say this: we love making music, but we hate the music business. And the more business your craft transformed into, it takes the love out of what you're doing. Well, it's been I would say yeah and no. I mean, definitely yeah. We're a fool to say no. It hasn't slowed down. Of course, it slows down with him being in jail, because you have to understand. Besides business, everything gets affected when friends go to jail. You have to. When I go visit Rule, we don't talk about music business. If the visit is from, if it's 8 hours, maybe we'll talk an hour about music, and the rest we're just being friends. So yeah, things slowed down because the project, like say his Pill 2 project, took a different turn when he went, when he going to jail. Like Seven stepped in, and so things have changed a little bit as far as the project. So yeah, things have been affected, but I don't know to what deal. Well, I would say I help. Well, we already know, I have a position at Empire as far as being, the day-to-day management of Empire. I would say right now I'm the point person of trying to keep everything together and everything moving forward as much as can. I wouldn't say the man in charge, because Rule is not dead. A phone call, he could say, all right, somebody do this, somebody do that, or he could write a letter. But the day-to-day activity, I try to manage it as much as possible. No, not really. Like the hardest thing about anything is getting everybody on the same page at one time, not just in life. Yeah, Life just dropped a mix CD. Yeah, my Life just dropped a mix CD. Mercer's working on another CD, but he was going through something with some some personal issues with his family and the federal police, and I let him explain that. I don't want to. That's for him to say. But what people have to understand is making music for you guys. It costs money to make music, especially music that you're giving away. Yeah. You know, one song, one song could possibly cost you three to $400, depending, for one song. You know, recording the song, paying for the production, getting it mixed down properly, and when you're your own backer, it's like, okay, we're not selling these records, we're giving them away. So the process may take a little longer, because in this business, everybody wants to get paid, and the last person to get paid is the artist. Mm-hmm. You know, we get a beat from a producer. Producer want to get paid. You know, to record the record, and wherever studio you record it, it's gonna cost to record the record. You know, some studios are $100 an hour, and it may take you 2 hours to do the record, depending on how you feel. So, and then after the record is done, you have to make sure the record is mixed. That's another price. So, say you got a CD of 10 records or something like that. You're talking about a hefty penny, and there's no financial backer behind it but yourself. So that's the process where you might have a CD where the CD may be short because you're doing this, out of pocket. Then some people are criticizing. They say, "Oh, look at Rick Ross and look at this one. They're giving away records, 20 records CD. Their situation is a lot different. They still have the Def Jam or whatever company saying, okay, we're gonna put this album out whenever your album is ready. So we make money off the album. So whatever money you made, like say Rick Ross, whatever money he made previously off the albums, he can say, okay, I could take this money to record these records and throw 10 records out. And then when you're at a level like a Rick Ross, certain producers, when you're doing the mix CD, they may not ask for money for the beat because they feel they want it on their resume. So it's just different. And it's just an understanding process that sometimes you don't expect the fans to understand, but you have to understand the fans.
True.
Yeah, me and J30 have a good working relationship. He's a great producer. He's a great producer, and we work well together. He's doing a lot on the artist seduction. He did a lot on Angels and Demons. I think he damn near did the whole CD. Give or take a few records here and there. And I would say J30. Buck also produces a lot. He produced a record with me and Jenna. Okay. The Lover.
Okay.
Yeah, Buck produced that. And I always say my boy Slim. Like me and Slim have unbelievable chemistry. And he did a record for the Art of Seduction that was supposed to go on Rule's album, but I don't know if it's gonna be on Rule's album. If it's not gonna be on Rule's album, it'll be on the Art of Seduction. It's called Hello Hello. Fuck 'em All. Fuck 'em All was originally J30 produced that as well. Fuck 'em All originally was gonna be Rule's record, and it started as Merce Montana's record. It was his record by itself. We was in the studio. He was in Studio 5, and me, Rule, and everybody else was in Studio 6, and Merce was working on the beat. He was working on his verses and stuff like that. So we all walked in and was like, wow, what's this? And Rule was like, no, I got the hook for this. Then Rule laid the hook, Fuck 'em All. Then Rule was going to take the hook, take the whole song. And he said, nah, we all going to do it. And Fuck 'em All, basically, you may get criticized for saying this. Fuck 'em All was for the critics. Like, if you listen to my verse, I don't care. Like, people say, H.O., you Hollywood. Yeah, you're right. I am. I said that already. If you was listening, I said that in a song. I said, you think I'm acting Hollywood? Well, bitch, I'm on Sunset now. And Sunset is a popular strip. And so Fuck 'em All was just like, yeah, if I don't think I'm the shit, then who will? I gotta think I'm the shit. See, it's funny in this game, right? Because when you display a certain level of confidence, they say you think you're Hollywood, you think it is, right? When you don't show that confidence, they say, well, he doesn't have the eye of the tiger. He doesn't believe in himself like that. He's not ready. So I choose to say, yo, listen, if I feel like being cocky and saying this, yes, that's how I feel at the moment. And whoever opposes, fuck them all. I really don't care. So. It all depends. Angels and Demons, I love the intro. Because the intro basically summed up everything, how I'm feeling at the time. That one intro. If you go back and play the intro, I'm saying, being in Vegas, leaving my girl at home, I'm partying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and in the song, something happens to me, to where I'm talking to, not God, but one of his angels, saying, yo, listen, if you don't get your shit together, this is what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna give you one more chance to get your shit right. And throughout the whole CD, it's just my process of trying to get it right. And the last song on Angels and Demons is a favorite song, Letter to the Hood. because I had to address certain topics that were happening in the neighborhood. You know, certain things have happened to me. I had a sister who killed herself. You know, she hung herself. And when you deal with something like that, you reflect and start looking at yourself. I remember being too busy to answer her phone calls, too busy to answer her texts, too busy to see her. Then it's like, am I that fucking busy where I can't answer a text message from my sister? Like, I'm so caught up in this game where I'm like, all right, I'll talk to her later, I'll talk to her later. Now, all I wish I could do is talk to her now. So, you know, that song, sometimes it's hard for me to listen to that song. You know, I always just, you know, I don't ever listen to it, but it's one of my favorites. Besides Carried Away. I like Carried Away, and I like Part-Time Lover. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Part 2. I forgot about that. Part 2. We had fun doing it. Like, me and my son, we grew up together. You know, in the Bronx. We grew up right around the corner from each other, and he actually kind of introduced me to this game. You know, he had a deal for a long time, and he brought me in, and it went off from there. Um, that record, we did it in the studio for like, it took 10 minutes. Like, when you love the beat and you love what you're doing, the song literally took, I'm gonna say it took 15 minutes. We both sat there and said, all right, you go first. You know, you just go in the booth and just say what's on your mind. Come out, he go. Come out, he go. Back and forth. So it took like 15 minutes to do that record. Well, that situation is still new, you know, so it's not much I can elaborate on. Like, Sev, he's coming in basically as producer, you know, producer, and that's the hat he wears as a producer. So I can say that situation is similar to, like, say, Dr. Dre and Death Row at the time, where Dre was the prime producer for Death Row. So with Empire and 700 his season, Sev will be like the prime producer for, you know, the records on for that situation. So, well, here this is how I look at. Of course, it's always exciting dealing with great talent, but I always tell everyone it's about chemistry and connection. Because, all right, Seven is a great producer. Seven made great records with Rule. Now we just have to make sure whatever Sev brings to the table will mesh with the other artists. It doesn't mean just because you give great records to this one that this person is going to sound great over it. Like, I always give the example of Chink Santana. Chink Santana is a great producer, but I don't always sound good over Chink's beats, because you have to always understand that music are composed of instruments, and your voice is an instrument, and not all instruments are gonna work together. So, but it's definitely good. Like, even besides having Sev as a producer, it's just good to have the creative minds, because even if you don't make the beat for a person, the creative minds and the creative juices together, it seems to work. Yeah. We working on a record called 700 Ways to Get Paid. I forgot how it came about. We was in Puff Studio, and I said something about, we got 700 ways to get paid. He's like, yo, that's gonna be the record. So that's something that we're gonna work on. That's gonna be dope too. Me and News could do some records together. Like, see, you always have to understand that, you know, News is my brother. You know what I'm saying? Through Murder Inc. That's my brother. So it's so simple to be like, all right, I got an idea for me and News. It has to be an idea. You know, all the records we did before, it was when, you know, our freshman year at Murder Inc. It was like, all right, let's just get on this and get on that. Now it was like, okay, if it makes sense, we're gonna do this record. But that's my boy, so I gotta see what fits. See what fits. We're gonna do a record though. That's my buddy. And I know when me and News come together, it's definitely like, okay, we're gonna tear this track in half. Let's see who could tear it in half more. Let's see who could burn down the record more. Like, I know what News is gonna bring every time. You know, he knows what I'm gonna bring every time. So it's like, okay, let's just do it and make it fun. So I like doing records with News for that. Like, that we push each other. You know, we push each other lyrically, and it's a good thing. Like, News is definitely a artist that I respect. Definitely an artist I respect. First thing we have to do is we have to make sure Pill 2 is out. Right. After Pill 2 is out, then we go on to the next step as far as how we're moving the record. So right now, I remember me and Rue always discussed this. We want to treat each project the way Death Row used to treat a project. Whatever project was on the table, that's the project everybody worked on. Mm-hmm. Everybody was in the studio contributing to that one project. You weren't thinking about your project coming up next. You weren't thinking about that. If we're working on a Dog Pound album, everybody's in here thinking for what's the best for the Dog Pound album. So if it's Pill 2 we're working on, everybody's energy is on Pill 2. If it's a Harry O project next, if it's a Merce Montana, if it's Young, whoever's project is next, that's the energy we put forth. So it's hard to say what's coming until we get what we have on the table out. So, and also you have to understand my position at Empire. I'm understanding both sides, business and artists. Mm-hmm. So what if they say, okay, I think it's better for us businessly to put a Merce Montana album out and not a HO album right now. Okay, fine. Let's work on this Merce Montana album. I'm gonna do everything possible, make this Merce Montana album hot, and do all the legwork and the footwork that I need to do because that's your position at the company. Well, I never really did records with Lou, but me and Lou are cool, and so he did a lot of production on what was gonna be Pill 2, it was a Renaissance project. So helped co-produce Uptown Boy. Mm-hmm. He co-produced it, and we're not doing too much work together right now, but he's a phone call away, but we're not working together right now though. That I don't know if we spoke about that. That was an experience for me because MC Light is MC Light is a pioneer. And I always like MC Light, so to be sitting there helping her, and like I always said, we weren't writing her verses. We were helping her, like saying, okay, don't say this, say that, say this, use this line. So we were we were collaborating on a project to tell her what was hot, what was going on. Because, everybody, sometimes you get to a point where you're not in tune on what's hot right now, and you need to be around people that know what's hot at the moment. She felt that me and Rue knew that, so we helped out. Hey, girls are still dope. That record can always come. Yeah, girls are dope. I could see if I could figure that out. But that's a record for me that me and Rue was going to do. Yeah, so I may have to wait for him to come home. Yeah. So it didn't work out. I don't know exactly why. But, besides politics, always getting involved with music, politics are the main cause of certain things not happening. Mm-hmm. Because there's no more respect for the artist's craft. Now is the business. And especially sometimes some people may feel you're a threat. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, me doing a record with you may help you. And in return, it could end up hurting me. So people think like that, and they were like, I don't know if I should do the record. But, it's okay. I'll catch his ass. I'll catch it. I like Fab, too. I think a lot of DJs, I remember DJ Clue said this, right? We try to give Clue some records for the play for me on the radio and so on and so forth. And he told somebody, why would I go hard on the HO record when I have to go hard on the Fabulous record? So right there, that made me say, all right, out of all the names you could say, why Fabulous? Like, why you got to go hard on any other record? So is it a direct competition? I respect Fab's craft, but I can't wait to get his ass in the ring, too. Like, I can't wait to get him in the ring. I can't wait. Yeah, comparison for many reasons. We get the comparison because of flow and tone of voice. Flow, tone of voice. Well, I'll say you this. I'm not one of those people to say I'm better than everybody. I can listen to somebody and say, this person can create a problem for me. This person is not a problem for me. As far as if we're talking about lyrics and flow. If we're talking about lyrics and flow, aside of marketing and promotion, if it's just down to lyrics and flow, I can tell you, this person can create a problem for me. or this person will not create a problem for me. And he's a person that I feel that can create a problem for me. But if he was to get in the ring with me, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to knock his head out the ring. You know what I'm saying? Or it can go either way. Maybe he'll have the better day. But if we were to get in the ring, Fab got a problem. I'm keen on competition, and I can tell you that who's competition for me and who's not, and why not.
Yeah.
Talk to Rule at least twice a week. No less than once a week. You know, he calls me once a week, and we talk. Every time he calls, we talk for an hour, because that's the time he have on the phone. So I'm surprised he didn't call tonight. I missed his call the other night, because he always calls at nighttime. And usually I probably get like 3 hours of sleep. So when I'm up, say if I come in the house at 4, I'm up at 7. And then I try to come back around 6 o'clock, take a nap, and he'll call like around 9, and I'll be sleeping. So sometimes I miss his call. But yeah, I talk to him at least once a week. I talk to Rule. But he's doing good. He's doing real good. You know, his spirits is up. And yeah, he got his GED. One thing about jail gives you time to think. And most of the time, if you have a strong head on your shoulders, in jail is when you do your best planning on what you want to do when you get out. And that's all he talks about. Listen, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do that. And you know, that's my boy. You know, and I can't wait for him to come home. Besides music, just for fun. Like I was saying this the other day, you know, the Super Bowl's coming and the Giants in the Super Bowl. Yeah. It'll always be a party at Rule's house. You know, everybody has, you know, their own houses that they go to. You know, I have a comfortable home. Rule has a $3 million home. No, but the thing is, my wife and his wife are close friends. So I've been over there a lot since he's been in jail anyway. Like I bring the wife and the baby, and they'll stay the weekend over there at Rules, and I come pick them up. So I've been around his kids. I check on them. You know, I come see the kids and call them, see how they doing. Go to football games. You know, just being a friend. Yeah, not a hard adjustment, but a big adjustment, because when you have a kid, you understand you have a person that you really have to take care of. Like, yeah, you're responsible for your wife and your significant other or whatever, but you are responsible for that child. So you have to make sure you make sound decisions as far as being there, you know. So it motivated me in different areas. Like, yeah, you want to work harder because you want to provide certain things, but I don't know, since from Angels and Demons to CD and the birth of my child, it makes me want to help more, because I prayed on this situation. You know, I prayed that my wife be able to have a baby. I prayed for a little girl. I prayed to have a little girl, and God has blessed me with everything I prayed for. So it's like, okay, it makes you more sound and understanding people. Like, okay, you become more emotional and more sensitive to your human side on how you deal with people. So that's what changed me. Yeah. Pill 2. Yeah, intro was crazy. Pill 2 is like, it's like nothing that's out there. You know, it's not what the classic Ja Rule, but it's the new classic Ja Rule. Like, it's records on Pill 2 that no one else could do. Like, when Rule started pushing the envelope with Ashanti, making those certain kind of records, no one could do what he was doing at that point. But now everybody can do what he was doing then. Like, you know, 50 Cent can do that then. You know, Drake can do that, what Rule was doing then. Everybody can do what he was doing then. This project here, Pill 2, no one can do that now. So it's a new Rule. It's a new type of classic Rule, and it's definitely a good piece of work. Definitely a good piece of work. See, it all depends, because I appreciate whatever's happening at the time. You know, certain music I don't like, certain music I do. Like, I'm a big fan of Rick Ross. You know, I think Rick Ross makes solid records. You know, and I love when he drops records. And let's say the 3 major people that's controlling the hip hop the rap world right now, say if it's Drake, Lil Wayne, and Rick Ross, right? I love Rick Ross records. You know, I don't love all of the Wayne records, but I appreciate the records. So I like the music that's out there, especially if those three are running it. Like, I can appreciate it. Like, I don't like everything on Drake's new album, but I like the records that they're making. I can relate, because this is what I always like to say too, right? People say, yo, H.O., you make records for this, you make records for girls, this and that. Listen to Rick Ross's records. He makes female-friendly records. Besides, the gangster shit that he does, listen to his records. Listen to the records that he put out as singles. Those are female-friendly records. And I always can appreciate female-friendly records. I like Ross. Yeah, definitely he was targeted. He was targeted because that night his Maybach was parked in front of the venue all night, and the cops had a chance to pull it over or roll up on the driver and ask him questions. They knew that car belonged to him or belonged to some artist, so they waited for him to come out of the venue to get in the car and then pull it over. So that shows you right there he was being targeted. So it's definitely unfair. It's definitely unfair. And the DA always felt Rue always got away with something. So that's why he didn't get, like, Lil Wayne got less time because of his record, and and Rue, they felt he always got away. And he always the one getting away. So we're not gonna let him get away this time. So I'm just saying, in his career, like, if you go back and look at certain things in his career, he had brush ups with the law, but nothing never really came from it, and they just try to find a way to get something on him, and they did. We work hand in hand on that. Gutter's the point person with that. As far as Gutter's the point person, as far as Pill 2, with Rue being in everything, has to run through Gutter, and he's down there in Miami, also working on films, producing some films. I did some acting here and there. I had some ambition to do it. I just have to, just waiting for the transition to go through properly. And Gutter got his hands in there, so, when things come about, we'll work it out together. Gutter's also the godfather of my child. Oh. So just want you guys to understand the family orientation that's here. That's where it comes from. Also, I think fans are overcritical because when you have these social media outlets, it's easy to be critical. It's easy to sit at home saying, fuck that shit. No, but I'm professional, so it's fine. As long as you're not disrespecting me as a man, you can say, yo, I hate that song, that shit is whack. All right, that's your opinion. Go to the next record then. Oh, you don't like the next record? Go to the next record. I don't like that record. Then go to the next CD. Like, no problem. If you like it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. Like, that's fine with me too. Super. I spoke to Ashanti the other day. Me and her were talking back and forth. It depends on what kind of record. Because, of course, like, me and Ashanti did a record a long time ago, the Mind Playing Tricks on Me record. But you have to, I feel like, to do a record with Ashanti, I don't want it to be a Ja Rule kind of sounding record. That's what I have Jenna for. Let Jenna and H.O. do that. If me and Ashanti do a record, it got to be something different, because Jenna is my Ashanti. That's what I want to stick with. When I'm thinking about a female on it, I'm calling her. You guys did something on MIO2 I want to ask you guys about. It was funny. And I respected where it came from. But I was reading into it a little bit when y'all was comparing me and Rule. It was a comparison of me and Rule, and some people, I forgot who posted, they were saying that I rap better than Rule or something like that. And they were comparison. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was something up there. They was comparing, like, it was like a bunch of bars. They were like, well, look at H.O.'s bars here. And look at Rule's bars here. Every record that Rule is on and H.O. is on, H.O. is doing this and Rule does that. So when I saw it, not about being flattered, this is what I saw it as. When that was posted, that right there opened up me as a target for people to hate.
Okay.
Because it's like, you know, Ja Rule is Ja Rule. And it's like, what are you talking about? Harry, yo, raps better than Ja Rule. You know, that it opened up something. Like I said, it was fine with me. You know, but it's just one thing, what I like about us, because, you know, we all read the interview, you know, all read the post, is that competition is fine within the camp, but to a certain degree. I don't ever want to be in competition with my brothers.
True.
You know, I don't ever want to have that type of competition to where it's like, you know, when I'm making a record and it's all of us in the studio, me and Rule are making a record or whatever, I'm never saying to myself, oh man, I gotta be better than Rule on the record. I'm not saying that. And I'm just, if I like the beat and I'm loving what's going on, I'm just into myself. And however that comes out, that's how it comes out. I don't ever want to have that type of because I've been in situations like that prior to coming here, been with other artists where the competition, people say, oh, it's a friendly competition. Sometimes it's never friendly competition.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, as far as, it wasn't the comparison, but he respected it. He was like, yo, because one thing about Rule is a fan of music, and he listens. So if you guys have a post saying, yo, listen to the records that H.O. and Rule doing, H.O. raps better than Rule. You know, Rule's an overall better artist, but H.O. just a better rapper than Rule. When he reads stuff like that, he doesn't take offense. So he's saying, yo, my boy is nice. Like, that's why I'm fucking with him. Like, my boy can fucking rap. But I also understand, like, as an artist, you have to understand your strong suit. You have to understand when you're not as strong. Like, Rule, to this day, is an amazing songwriter. You know, Jay-Z gave him his credit. Jay-Z said one of the best songwriters in music history is Ja Rule, a songwriter. Miavine just told Irv Gotti, Rule may be one of the best of his time as writing a song. He comes in, he hears a beat. What he hears is different from what I hear. Like now, the era that I fell in love with and I came up in, it was an era of everybody spitting. So when I hear a beat, automatically I'm like, the bars. I'm like, oh shit. I'm thinking flow first. I see a part of the beat, I'm gonna tap on the flow. Then once you feel the flow, you're like, okay. Then you start thinking of your bars. Rule doesn't do that. He come in and say, got the hook. Like, I seen him make hooks that'll be on the radio forever in a matter of 2 minutes, like with no thought. You can try to transition your brain to think like that, but if your brain doesn't think like that, it doesn't. So that would be the difference between, and no disrespect, I said this before. You take an artist like Jadakiss, right? You take an artist like Ja Rule. People will say, yo, Jadakiss, way better spitter than Rule. Say people would say that, right? Jadakiss has not yet, or maybe ever will be, reached the success of Rule. As nice of a rapper he is, but his songwriting skills would never touch Ja Rule's. So it's like, it's always a big difference on what you hear. So that you have to know your strong suit. If you a spitter, then you spit your ass off and figure a way to make the shit into a record your best way. So if you're not a great spitter, but you're a great songwriter, that works for you too. But you have to know your strong suit. So like me, I say, all right, I'm a good songwriter. What I do works for me. But I know when I hear a record, the first thing I'm thinking about is bars, which is not always good, but that's just how it is. What's going on, everybody? It's 2012. H.O. Harry O. We here in the studio. Want to shout out MIO. Thank you for standing by us. Thank you for the positive feedback. Thank you for the criticism. Artist Seduction is coming soon. It's a short CD. Fly guy, female friendly music. Empire.